Got it working? Can you all hear me up here? Computer or iCloud?
Recording in progress.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr.
How are you?
Here. All right, let's see who we got for what. All right, we got Mr. Wilson, Scatter Start event. For him, we have Mr. Mark Post.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Post. With Investigator Hartley and Miss Starling with Mr. Wilson. All right. How can we proceed?
Yeah.
Tell me what we're doing.
Yeah, Judge, if you remember, Mr. Starling was on last week, and there was basically a rehab bed for him in the Valley Rescue Rehab Program, and what we all kind of this week, you would have the authority to set a bond in Mr. Starling's case.
No, that's
Changed.
we didn't have the hearing. Are we proceeding with the hearing?
We need to let him have a bond on the condition that he goes straight to the rehab. You noted at the time that you didn't have the read on it, that there was an order in the works that might be in place by today that would give you that authority. So
Well,
my
the
first question is,
order is not signed, but it is in the works. Still,
okay,
order we had to iron out, and they have not been. Well, they sort of have been, but that part of the order about it.
okay. Well,
But
I guess,
in the meantime, let me say this, and I need the jail. I'm gonna take them off video because I didn't know who we were gonna call first. Maybe I'm doing the wrong one. Sorry. Okay. We need Mr. Investigator Elliott actually took out another warrant for Mr. Starling by taking warrant. So we need to address that one this morning with him. I can hear you. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Wilson, the theft by taking, he's accused of taking a chainsaw, property $100.
well, there must be some chainsaw. Was anybody know if the chainsaw has been recovered?
Investigator Elliott, no, this chainsaw, I don't think as of yesterday was. About, Mr. Starling having bond to be released to Valley Rescue Mission, and I did get.
Well, Judge, my concern about it is that I've got his criminal history now of theft, drug charges, et cetera. I'm sure he does need rehab, but I would prefer to some kind of sentence we're fashioning other than.
So what you're telling me is we should let him sit in jail for 6 months to a year?
Well, no, I think
Hold on. Putting him in rehab now is not going to prevent you from making whatever kind of plea offers he wants to do. It just gets the ball rolling a little faster. But that's up to you. Okay, I'm done.
So are we proceeding with the hearing either way or no?
Sure, let's have the hearing, because I don't really have any facts about this case at some point. So let's see, it shouldn't take very long.
Well, here's the thing. Are you ready to pursue a chainsaw? Alright, I'm not. I don't see postponing that, Mr. Wilson, if we, so.
Let's see what it's all about.
Does anyone, is everywhere to be that I haven't been told? Officers, everybody good? Okay. Alright. So, Investigator Elliott, if you'll raise your right hand, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. Following is charged with burglary in the second degree and theft by taking. State your name and agency for the record and why you made this case.
Elliott, Harris County Sheriff, the burglary.
Alright, and I'm sorry, I want to make sure, Ms. Starling, raise your hand, Elliott.
85 on January 30th, 2022. Mr. Starling was at Ellerslie Park and was witnessed the building there at the park. They tried to follow him. The Ford Flex vehicle that they identified, they give us their tire on the right rear and a busted quarter glass on the right side. We were familiar with the vehicle from another incident. He was witnessed taking a backpack blower. He was also identified in a photo lineup on that incident. On the other case, 3482 Fortson Road, Mr. Stevens noticed a few days later that he had 2 chainsaws. He said the only person that would have known that they were there would have been Mr. Starling because he was working a chainsaw at a better pawn in Columbus. The second chainsaw, he stated if he could get his property back, he would not press charges. They charged him with theft by taking on the second one that we could not recover. In an interview with Mr. Starling, he admitted to come about getting the one from the pawn shop.
All right, Mr. Ant.
I don't have any questions, Judge.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Wilson.
Investigator Elliott, let me ask you about the second incident first. Mr. Starling is the person who
included his right index fingerprint
Okay.
as well.
Where, you said that he made a statement, while in custody, and the second one was,
At a Hispanic gentleman owns a tree service that he had sold the saw to him for
and I
$50.
assume that somebody followed up with the Hispanic
Yes, I
gentleman.
did, and he denied knowing Mr. Starling nor buying a chainsaw off the street.
And the value of that chainsaw was alleged to
That
be.
one was $1,500.
Okay. And what was your basis for
So
that
the
valuation?
between the chainsaw and the bar that was put on it by the
Well, that's
victim,
what he said he had. And did he show you any receipts or paperwork for it?
I'm sorry, for
Okay, so that's what a new one costs. Was the one that was stolen brand new? Okay, you don't know how old it
no,
was
sir.
or what kind of condition it was in.
Condition. The one I recovered from the pawn shop was in good condition as well.
Assuming that's the case, you don't have any idea which one even in good condition, do you?
No, sir, I do not.
That's all I have on that one. Now on the case that Mr. Elliott was seen taking some items out of a building. Did I hear that?
Backpack blowers, what they witnessed him take
Was
out.
that
I still have.
recovered? Okay. And did he make a statement about that particular
Yes,
incident?
he admitted to being there in the interview, and he
Okay. So, the property, so some of the property's been recovered, and the only thing that's still missing is the second chainsaw,
on
right?
chainsaws and a blower at two different locations in Columbus on this case. And then
Okay. That's all I have for Investigator Elliott.
Okay. Anything at this time, Mr. Anthony?
Judge, I would simply ask you to set a bond in rehab until it's completed. And if he flunks out or quits, that he goes right back to jail. Get all this rolling. That would be a good use of the jail space and everybody's time, cases, and proceed in that way.
And Your Honor, you certainly have the discretion to do that if, is that if you decide not to, that Mr. Wilson consider it possible, and I'll get an offer to.
All right, well, let's do this. This particular, that right now, the quickest way for that to happen is for me to give notice to Superior Court so I'm gonna bind it over as it is. I think Mr. Anthony has a good suggestion. In the meantime, I'm certainly available, but I think we can move this forward.
Okay, Your Honor. I'll just treat it as bound
All
over
right.
Superior Court.
Thank you. Mr. Starling, I'm sure you, all right,
Okay.
go,
I was
You need
just
to
gonna
say
say,
something.
Mr. Starling, you know, I'll try to get over there and, you know, and once you're fully informed and I'm fully informed about what everybody's talking about, we'll meantime just sit tight and, you know, don't say anything to anybody. That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
thank you. Okay. We have Sergeant Elliott and Investigator Hartley on Caitlin Griffin. Caitlin, can you hear me okay? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Okay. All right. Investigator Elliott, you're still under oath. Investigator Hartley, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give shall be the truth. All right. Caitlin is charged with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One count of burglary. If you'll state who we're starting with.
Yes, Your Honor.
For the record and why you made these cases
Investigator
against
Zach
her.
Hartley with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. On 2/3/2000 that occurred on February 1st, between February 1st and February 2nd, of initially on the cases that I'm handling. Of those, we and the others were in the Steel Creek subdivision off of James Road in the Fort. I did 2 separate videos. In one of the videos, I was able to determine that it was a white scene in the video. We were able to get copies of that video and checked the vehicle. We were able to match the vehicle to the one seen on the security footage due to of that, we provided a lineup to Mr. Earl Chill in the Ellerslie place. He actually observed Miss Griffin in the one of the entering autos occurred. Again, he was provided a lineup and he identified her in that. 4th of February, myself and several other investigators went to Miss Griffin's house, at which time she was taken into custody on the warrants that we had for entering autos. After that, in which we located items from each of the individual thefts, at least some item from each of the individual thefts in her vehicle. That's
All right. Do you want to question Investigator Hartley or proceed with the other officer?
Investigator Hartley some questions, if I might.
Okay.
Investigator Hartley videos, where did they come from and to what incident?
The first video that you could see the female and the vehicle with the damage on it was a 41 wagon wheel, which would be I can give you the case number for that specific
Are
one
those,
if you need
is
it.
that the one 91F and 92F warrants, with Darren Moore
Yes, sir, Mr. Morrison, that's the case. Yes, sir.
case? And what
Yes,
does
sir.
that
He had
video
two.
show?
That video shows the vehicle pulling into the cul-de-sac. Ms. Griffin getting out of the vehicle, going down and returning about 30 minutes later and sitting in front of the house again, at which time she was observed
Mr. Chill,
by the neighbor. Yes, sir.
and Lieutenant Colonel Chill, retired, is,
That's correct.
Is that correct?
No,
Just
sir.
now, as I said, is,
He was driving in the morning when he saw her, and he was able to, and he shined his headlights on her, and she looked right at him.
is that the only time that he actually physically saw her himself?
When he left his residence, yes, sir. The other time was just her vehicle on the cameras.
And tell me about the lineup you conducted with
It was generated through our report system, which we can generate a lineup of nondescript, 6 nondescript photos.
Preserve the lineup, you still have it?
Yes, sir, I do.
Did you show Mr. Chill the video?
He's the one that gave us copies of the videos. Yes, sir, they came from his security system, his residence. Yes, sir.
Some of the victims, with regard to the alleged Ronaldo's live in his neighborhood, correct? Came with you, is that right?
He had contacted Mr. Morrison and asked him if, at that time, I don't believe, knew that his car had been entered until he spoke to Mr.
With
Chill.
regard to Mr. Morrison, the two vehicles listed on the respective warrants.
That to their family, yes, sir. I believe they're registered to him, but
and I think you mentioned another video.
yes, sir. There was another video from, I believe it was from the Steel Creek neighborhood.
And to which warrant did that relate?
I don't have the, I have the case number. I don't have how.
You know the name of the
That's
vehicle owner?
right now. I believe that was for Miss Kinsall.
Yes. Jenna Kinsel.
Yes, sir.
Or
Richardson Road.
2013 Honda. I cut you off, I'm sorry.
Richardson Road.
And that's the 2013 Honda Pilot.
Let's see. (2013) Honda Pilot, yep.
And did that video come from Miss Kinsel's residence? What's the neighbor's name?
Pull that. Jason Fussell.
And what could you see on that video?
See a vehicle pull into the into the cul-de-sac, or onto the road, excuse me. Exterior lights in Miss Kinsel's house come on when it appears someone exits the vehicle, and then the vehicle drives off after that.
How long was the vehicle stopped there?
Maybe a minute. That's all I have of the clip. It's only off of motion. Once it doesn't see motion, it cuts on off.
So basically the security lights come on, you see the vehicle, somebody gets out of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And that's all you
Yes.
see. And you see the vehicle zoom, that nobody was identifiable from that particular video clip.
That's correct. We just recovered the property in her car and on her person, actually. She had some gift cards from.
Which, with regard to Miss Kinsel, what gift cards did and Judge, I'm going to refer to her as Caitlin Griffin, even though since that's how the warrants were taken, her name's actually Caitlin Griffin Jimerson, I believe. An investigator.
In that one, she had gift cards, a TJ Maxx one, an American Eagle one, a Lulu and May, and a Francesca's gift card. Those were all on her person, and we located the
Are these all from Kinsel's?
Yes, sir.
Ronaldo.
Okay. Three Goo gift cards, TJ Maxx, American Eagle, Lula and May, and a Francesca's.
What were the values of each of those gift cards?
I don't have that right here in front of me. It's in the other paperwork.
While you're looking at that, can you tell me how you were able to identify the specific Miss Kinsel's vehicle?
The victims were able to identify them as
Yes,
theirs.
what I'm getting at is how are they able to do that?
They had to say,
Number on them or something?
they just told us that those were their gift cards. What gift cards I had.
They just matched up.
Yes,
What you're saying? From their list matched up to your list.
there's no written on the gift card. There's no value on the either
Just on the Googles or any of them?
On any of those particular ones, there's not.
So, we talked about executed a search warrant on February the 4th with some other investigators. Who else went out there with you?
The search warrant wasn't done until
And that's when you went to her house, was on February 7th.
or I believe maybe her husband, I don't know if they're legally married or not. He provided us information, and keys had been dropped off in Columbus. Deputies went down there and observed some of the property back to our office, and then the following week is when we filed a search warrant and searched the vehicle and located all the items.
The items in plain view, can you tell me what they are?
There was a lunchbox that was, I believe, sorry, Evan, you were down there. The vehicle while we came back to the jail with her, so she can speak to that.
That would have been on the 4th.
Yes, that would have been the afternoon of the 4th, correct.
So, what was recovered in the car?
In the trunk of the car, we recovered the car seat. We recovered a custom painted cup belonging to Miss Morrison.
Let me slow you down a little bit. On the car seat, what came out of the garbage trail from?
That one came from 51 Autumn Trail.
You know the name of the
Dykes is the last name, Annie Dykes.
Okay. Yeah. What about little Mike
Morrison?
Which vehicle?
His Town and Country minivan.
And then we're going through and while you do it, tell me who it came from or which.
So the pink makeup bag would have been also Mr. Morrison painted cup with Miss Morrison's name on it. Again, would be her vehicles. A school lanyard with let's see, that's gonna be Miss Lindsay Fitz would be the lanyard that was addressed to Miss Morrison that was found. And then the pink and white case back to Miss Kinsall on Richardson.
be Jenna Kinsey.
Yes,
Is that right?
Kelly's her mom.
And all that was recovered in the white
There was
Chevrolet.
also a paper copy of a driver's license located and contacted him. He advised us that his vehicle had also been broken into, but he had been out of town and had not filed that report. And when he returned that day, he filed that report.
I believe that would relate to warrant number 104F. Caitlin Griffin, also known as Caitlin Griffin Jefferson, make any statements
She read her Miranda rights,
to you?
and initially she began to speak with us, but wasn't supposed to do anything and had not done any of these and didn't want to talk anymore. So she was trying to.
Did she ask for a lawyer?
Yes, she wrote her rights to speak with us.
So she did not admit to anything.
That's
Is that
correct.
correct? You have a recording of any sort of that conversation or that invocation of rights?
No, sir, we don't have, the patrol guy hadn't arrived, and so we don't have body cameras. We didn't have an active, we don't.
Did you get a statement from the defendant's husband?
Yes, sir, we did. We spoke with him, regardless of where she'd been and things like that in the last several days.
What did he tell you?
He told us that he had seen on Facebook that there had been several cars in the neighborhood that had been in. Caitlin was involved because they had gotten into an argument, and according to his words, gone on a Xanax binge for several days, and said when she begins to, that she tends to take things that don't belong to her. He was upset, obviously. Told us where she had dropped it off because she had been upset.
And what location was that?
Walden Pond Apartments.
And you took, well, you weren't actually there to recover the vehicle at the
Sergeant Elliott and Sergeant Starter were there.
Was there anybody else that saw into any vehicle or in the area of any of these vehicles?
Mr. Morrison's daughter, juvenile daughter, believed that she had seen her, and when she was on her way to the bus stop after Mr.
Did you
Shield.
conduct a lineup with her?
No, sir, we did not. This was after Mr. Shield had already identified her.
You said she was on the way to a bus stop for school.
Correct. I believe she's
How old is
15.
the juvenile daughter? Anybody else that can apply to any of these?
I don't have any other video footage of her, no, sir. Or any other lineups that were provided to anyone else. Just the items that we
What items
recovered
were
from
on
her and in her vehicle.
specifically?
Just gift
And
cards.
it was, I think you went through that before. Eagle, TJ Maxx, Lou and May, and Francesca's gift cards.
Those were some of them, yes, there was others as well.
Okay. From what were the others connected to?
There was, Miss Nance's vehicle. There was an Amazon one for that one.
Was that Joshua Nance's vehicle?
Yes, sir. Some from Mr. Morrison's Amazon for that one. And then there's several that are still in evidence. We're not sure where they came from.
So, on Caitlin Griffin Jemerson's person, you know of the Internauto, a Morrison, one of the Morrison Internautos, the Nance Internauto, and that's it.
And unless was there any, I'm not, okay, there's one that hasn't been recovered.
And I was just talking about what was on the defendant's person, wherever they located on
Front pocket.
shirt pocket, pants pocket. And Caitlin Griffin Jemerson was arrested at her residence. Is that accurate? All right. I think that covers it.
Yes, sir.
Anything, Mr. Anthony? Okay. All right, Investigator Elliott.
I have two cases that go right along with this. We'll start with Mr. Luther Miller had his 2010 Jeep Wrangler pair of Ray-Ban prescription sunglasses in a black Ray-Ban that were also located in her vehicle when we did the search warrant. And Hollow is the burglary. That's actually going to be Miss Griffin Jefferson's grandparents, if I understand correctly. We were able to was left in his driveway where that she turned into a metal culvert. Taken was out of the shed. Chainsaws, cracks toolbox, and circular saws. Identify her vehicle being the one there based off of the as far as everything else, it ties in with stated.
Yes, the assistant district attorney would go next.
I don't have any
Or ask
questions.
questions.
Okay. All right, I'll hear from Mr. Post.
Thank you, Judge. Sergeant Elliott, forgive me, is it Christy?
That'll be fine. It's Christiana, but it's hard to pronounce.
Christiana, okay. Anytime you see me, you can call me Mark, okay? Luther Miller, you said you located Ray-Bans of some sort. Well, tell me how you located Ray-Bans, I guess.
Okay, the vehicle at Walden Pond Apartments. They were on the it was the only pair in the black hard case. Sure, until we conducted the search warrant the following Monday.
Okay. Out of curiosity, is Luther Miller an older gentleman or a younger gentleman? An older would be over
59. Well,
and that includes me now, unfortunately. Was there any specifics that identified them as being Luther Millers when you just looked at them?
they were the only prescription ones in there. Black plastic across the top with the two silver pieces.
Okay. But you couldn't see that they were prescription or that they were wireframed or any of that?
No, sir. No, sir, not until we conduct.
What else was in plain view?
There was a green and white one of Investigator Hartley's cases.
Do you know which one?
And the car was the back seat of the car was loaded with stuff, and were the main two things that stood out.
Did you all seize the vehicle and take it to the sheriff's office just based on the items you saw in
Yes.
plain view?
We knew that that was also the suspect vehicle based off of the vehicle description with the front end damage.
When you say undercarriage damage, describe that a little bit more to me. If you
Or
could.
there's a plastic protector, I guess, that protects the under. There was damage to that, and I believe the piece that we have came from the undersill. I'm not a mechanic, so I can't say that's specifically where it came from, as well as the front end damage on that side of the car. It will be consistent with what we found.
Okay. And they just visually matched
Yes.
from what you were looking at. So you and who else went to recover the car? Did you locate any witnesses that saw the car left there, or collect any video or anything like that?
And statement that he had picked her up there.
Is there any other evidence or statements that you collected
No,
in
sir.
this case?
I've nothing, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Post, anything else?
No other evidence, Your Honor.
Okay.
I guess ABA Anthony would go first, but
Well, Judge, I would just say I think probable cause has been thoroughly established, and would ask that you can find the
Okay.
case over.
Judge, with respect to the burglary case presented about the items taken, that any of those items were recovered. I believe that was where they were in a car, but that would be our grandparents, so that wouldn't necessarily prove burglary because it was not a residence, it was a shed. Sorry. But I would suggest at best it would be a second degree burglary definition. But I think there's insufficient evidence with respect to that. With regard to war number 98F, Lindsay Fifth evidence connecting my client to that particular to be dismissed as well, Judge. And with respect to the bond itself and the bond amount by half, in this case, there is a hold on my case with regard to probation. I've talked to assistant my client is going anywhere anytime soon, at least until we deal with the probation hold. And I insist the district attorneys about this matter to see if we can resolve it. There may be some need for not something your Honor's concerned with, but I just wanted to ask for that we can deal with the Columbus probation hold and which we have found, by the way, that the family would be able to afford to do that.
Okay, I'll let you speak, Mr. Anthony, but I am gonna find probably you can speak on the burglary. If that needs to be second degree, then the court can bind it over as that.
As I recall, the testimony was it was a shed that was broken into, so that would be a second degree. Concerned, she doesn't have a really substantial criminal history pointed out on felony probation in Columbus. I think that if you think it's appropriate to reduce that, I think it's appropriate where it is, but I'll submit that to your discretion.
Obviously, with the caveat that she is Columbus issue as well, Mr. Post, if you could get me where this place already, I don't know if they've worked that out yet, but I will agree to half 11,000 plus add-ons.
Thank you, Judge.
With the same bond contact with any of the homes or victims, and
If I recall, it is in the Chattanooga area, Judge.
All right. Anything else regarding Ms. Griffin?
No,
Ms. Jimerson?
Nothing from the state.
That I've got to take care of. I know we've got one more case, so I'm going to take a brief recess and I will come back. Thank you. And we will take Mr. Dusty Lee Elliott next. Now, Mr. Wilson, while I know.
Let me just ask you before you get off the bench, Judge, Mr. Elliott have any kind of bond at all? You can talk to Mr. Elliott. Mr.
Yeah, I'll be happy to have any conversation.
All right, I'll put you in a room while I am
Judge, are already
Okay,
known
yes.
to Mr. Anthony and the two investigating officers. The officers have been nice enough to kind of been filed. I feel fairly certain that, you know, if we had the hearing, the case offering to waive the hearing, without conditions, but I would ask the court to consider, apparently he has no previous charges. I understand the state will oppose concerns about, you know, various things, but I would ask the court
All
to
right,
set
Mr.
a reasonable.
Anthony.
State is opposed to a bond in this case. This case involves this defendant, grooming a, part of that grooming process, was, conversations that were sexual in nature, videos and photographs and so forth that are sexual in nature. Some of that was him sending a picture of his erect penis to the child. So it has advanced to the point of actual criminal acts, escalation to continue if he had the opportunity. Moreover, the attempted some grooming with at least one other child who is 11 years law enforcement that he has a problem and consider him to be a threat to the community, and just ask that there be no bond.
All right, Sergeant Sturman or Chief Cato, anything to add?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All right, so are you waiving the hearing,
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Wilson? Okay,
I suppose I should add his interpretation of what the evidence is, but I would certainly agree that it would be no problem. I will waive the hearing.
okay. All right, hearing is waived and bond is denied at this level.
We'll send it up to Superior Court and deal with
right.
it all up there.
All right,
Okay.
thank you very much. Are there any other matters,
Is
Mr.
Mr.
Anthony?
Wilson also waiving the hearing on position 3
Yes,
regarding the
I'll
moonshine?
go ahead and waive that as well.
Okay. Then
And
nothing
I
else
will
to say.
reserve bond if any